From the Channel Seed Studios, welcome to The Hook. A look behind the lines with Mike Palm and Ken Miller. Powered by Circa Sports Iowa. Sports betting the way it should be. This is Iowa Everywhere.
Channel Seed. Seedsmanship at work.
And hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Hook. My name's Ken Miller. I talk sports in Des Moines on Des Moines Sports Station, 106.3 KXNO, along with my partner Trent Condon, every Monday through Friday from 11 to 1. That's Mike Palm. Mike's the VP of Operations at Circus Sports. He comes to us from the D this week, one of their properties on Fremont Street, the other one being the Golden Gate. But Mike, good to see you. How's the week been? Slowing down a little after the Cup?
Yeah, a little bit now, kind of normalizing, heavy into baseball right now. And, the golf was great last weekend. And we have a little respite here, but they're betting into this current tournament. So, it's a little break. And then we, start cranking it back up.
I don't remember Wyndham Clark being on the list of golfers that you guys didn't want to win last week. What was the result? Wyndham Clark winning the U.S. Open. How was that for you?
No, he was a decent result for us. Mid 5-figure winner. But on Sunday, we really had no real liability Sunday. I mean, everybody that was in contention was a winner. And so it worked out well for us.
How many, I know this is kind of a difficult question to answer, but when you think back to Sunday morning, prior to the leaders teeing off, I mean, I guess you could go down maybe as far as Scheffler, maybe some Dustin Johnson bets coming in, but those guys had a lot of shots to make up. They're 5-6 out of the lead. Is that too far?
No, people were still betting DJ through the weekend. That was the main one.
Yeah, Rory as well. I mean, Rory's going to win.
Rory took action. Took action about it. He was right there. I mean, he took the most action overnight, Saturday night.
Mm-hmm. The British Open, you've got the Open Championship up already. When do you see that starting to get to catch hold?
Not too long. Probably mid next week. We'll start getting more bets into that pool.
All right. I want to talk baseball with you. It's a really rare night in Las Vegas here as we record this on Thursday night. The late game had a 4:05 first pitch. Yeah. So is there anything after that? Is there anything you can put up?
No, not really. There's nothing really that's bettable. It's just a crazy, and we're in the second longest day of the year too, Kenny. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just in case I missed something here on the schedule today. I'm just looking through it, but let's see.
Ticket writer's going to spend a lot of time looking at each other tonight, right?
No. Oh, WNBA. There's a couple.
Oh, is there?
That's very minimal, especially the Aces played earlier or whatever. Outside of the Aces, we don't do a ton of right, and any of the right is just sharp.
It's NBA draft night, Mike, and I for one am glad that Circa did not offer a market on this. Some of the others, the apps certainly were involved. I think it's ridiculous, personally, betting on the draft. That's just my opinion. It has never moved my needle once. I mean, I've never once thought about, I'm going to take a stab at this. Is it popular?
Well, I mean, only one book in Vegas even offered it. Stations offered it, and it was for less than half a day, and they took it down. The NBA, no. There's no clamoring. Obviously, people want more NFL stuff, but NBA, no, there's no demand.
Yeah, I can't see it. You did put up Rookie of the Year numbers for the NBA. What can you tell us about those?
Well, Wembayama, who's going to be the number one pick tonight, we assume, is minus 220 to be Rookie of the Year. The new collective bargaining agreement states that to win any year-long award, a player must play 20-plus minutes in 65 or more games. First of all, there's an injury factor for him, right? Mm-hmm. But second of all, how about he's going to the team that invented load management? I mean, He might be healthy all year and not play 20 minutes in 65 games. I'd have to take a look at the field plus 180.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, think back to last year, a guy that's not too much shorter than him, Chet Holmgren, goes 2 overall. He didn't play at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so we'll see. Will that be? Will you do much right on that? Do you think?
A little bit. Yeah, it's also people tying up their money for a year, so think about that too.
Yeah. When will NFL numbers start to come out? More NFL numbers start to come out.
Well, they'll be working on it now the next few weeks, so I would suspect early July.
Yeah.
Especially that week of the All-Star game where there's no baseball to book.
Right. Yep.
That will be a prime time to start releasing NFL stuff, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's get into Major League Baseball. I want to start with you away from going behind the counter. I was watching the Padres and the Giants this afternoon. Padres, I mean, they needed that win in the worst way last night, or this afternoon rather. What was Machado, by the way, doing last night? Did you see him get picked off?
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean, where was his head?
There's seemingly a lot of issues with this team, right? And they miss Suarez in the bullpen. Nobody talks about that enough, but and they really only produce runs out of the top four. At least it's been that way for a little while. So I thought they were gaining some momentum. They win 2 out of 3 from Tampa, and then they go there and blow leads in the ninth, blow late leads the first 2 nights, and then don't score last night. And this rule at home, what's this blocking the plate, what isn't? I mean, this is distorting all these games now, Kenny.
Mike, Trent and I have an opinion, and it's happened 3 times that we know of this week. Yep. We believe that there was probably a memorandum or something came down from the league office that wanted to get control of that. Because wasn't it Buster Posey that the rule was actually put in the first place?
Yes.
Wasn't he the collision?
It was.
Yeah.
It's really difficult because for 100 years, the rule, if the ball beats you, you're out, right? If the ball didn't beat you and you made contact, that's obstruction. Yeah. If the ball beats you, you're out. The catcher has a right to be there if the ball's there. Now they put this where your initial stance that the White Sox calls ridiculous. Heights behind the plate and gives him a clear lane. Yep. Didn't do anything wrong, tagged them out right at the right time, and that decided the game. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Even Steve Stone, who's I cannot for any reason think you could call that a violation.
I was watching it live at the time, and
so was I, because I have the White Sox future. So
I do too. I thought Gary Sanchez, the play in San Francisco last night, I thought that was equally egregious.
Well, it was. And then they don't call one, they call another, they challenge. I mean, it's really bad, and nobody knows what the rule is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. You guys, and I hope you're going to do this. I don't know why I haven't shown more interest in this, because I love big prices. Condon's all over the Reds. I've heard about it all week.
Of course.
It's a great story. But he also bet, you guys have been putting up most wins in the month of April, most wins once April comes to an end, May, et cetera, et cetera. June, he's got the Reds at 150-1, and I think they're sitting third right now with about 8 days left of baseball this year, or this month rather. So will you continue to do that in July, August, and September? Because I think I need to get involved in this because I love big prices.
It's really exciting, isn't it? You get these big prices on these teams. I mean, the San Francisco's one, until today had the big winning streak. And so you can get a team hot. It's like the quarters in the Circa Millions, right? Right. You get hot for a month.
Yeah. What were the Giants? I'm looking through. Giants were 35-1 in the month of June to have the most wins. The Reds 150-1. They're on a winning streak of their own. They haven't had one of these, for crying out loud, since I'm not even sure I was born yet. It's been a long time since they were this hot. So what goes into it? Let's do it. Let's just spend a minute on this. If you're going to get involved in this on your Circa app here in the state of Iowa, what do you look for, Mike? Strength of schedule, number of games. What would you do?
That's number one. Look about players coming back off a disabled list that, maybe the market doesn't recognize it. I mean, the Reds get the rookie called up this month, right? Mm-hmm. And Votto comes out. Although Votto really is just at the tail end of this.
Yeah.
And then number one is, you're right, is strength of schedule. You got to look at strength of schedule.
Yeah. Number of games, does it play into it all? I mean, some teams might play 26, some 25.
Sure. Obviously, that's a factor in wins.
Yeah. Do you take the favorites, or do you look for you?
No, you got to look for a price. You got to look to 10-1 or better. Why get involved?
Well, and here's the thing with the prices the way they went. You could have got the Yankees at 40-1. I mean, talk about the New York Yankees, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
The Red. I mean, big name teams. Cubs have had a good month. They could have got them at 60-1.
I bet the wrong Chicago team in my futures. I mean, the Cubs look terrific.
They might win the division. But point being, Mike, when you see prices like this, you can bet 2 or 3 of them.
Sure. when you're getting 10 to 1, 15 to 1, 20 to 1, and 50 to 1, why not?
Yeah. I'm going to take a stab at it. What do you think of the Cubs? They make their way to London to take on the Cardinals.
Yeah, interesting. Kind of breaks their momentum a little bit now that they have to go to London. Look, Hendricks is back. He's pitched well the last 2 times out. Stroman, nobody's talking about. He should be in your top 5 Cy Young candidates.
Yep.
If they get some production out of the left-handed starters, the bullpen's been good. They get hitting from different parts in the lineup, right? So it's a young team with a mix of a few veteran guys. But I looked at the homestand, and then they went to Pittsburgh, but the crowd every night is really into the game. The White Sox, they're booing them, and the Cubs, the crowd's going nuts. They're down 6 runs and they get a rally going and the crowd's on their feet. I mean, it's a much different atmosphere from one side of the city to the other.
No, it truly is, from the north side to the south side. Bellinger's been good for that team. I like what he brings to the team. Now he's playing first base. I don't know. They're going to have a difficult decision because I think that, if you go back to April, I think their plan was to move Stroman. I think their plan was to move Bellinger. But if they continue to play the way that they are, I mean, they find themselves, 3 games, something like that off the lead right now. You're going to have to win the division to get into the playoffs. I don't think there's a wild card coming out of there.
No, because you're going to have 3 teams in the West probably. So 2 of the wild cards will come from the West and the others probably the Phillies.
Or maybe the Marlins?
I don't know. Depends on how they're young pitching. Think about the Marlins. What are they, 8-9 games over 500? And Alcantara has been their worst pitcher by far.
It's been crazy, right? By far. And he's their ace, and he was one of the shorter prices to win the Cy Young in the National League.
It's not even close how bad it is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're 9 games above 500. The Braves obviously are running away with that. That division. So the Giants are the story. Prior to the day, they'd won 10 straight. You buying this team?
I used to not think much of Kapler as a manager. I've changed my mind. I still look at their lineup. Maybe I undervalue their hitters, but I don't love their lineup. They're not great defensively. I got to tell you that, Kenny. I think they're a little bit limited. You know who's bad defensively? The Yankees. The Yankees suck in the field. I can't believe how bad they are when I watch them play.
Yeah.
But, Desclafani's pitched okay. Webb hasn't been great, but he's been better than he was the first month. It seems like they get away with these bullpen days, and that's a tough park to play in. So, I think Arizona's there. I mean, the winner of the Central, the Braves, the Dodgers, and I think Arizona are all heavy favorites to make the playoffs. And then I think that the Giants, I guess you can't count the Padres out yet, but they're on the outside looking in. But the Cubs are in striking range. I mean, who wants to win the Central? I think anybody but the Cardinals can probably win it.
Yeah, the Pirates seem to be going the other way, but had a great start.
Yeah, I don't know that they're out of it yet, though, because they built up a good enough record where now they're only a few games out as well.
This Arizona team, it to me, I thought their arrow was clearly pointing up, but I had 2024, 2025. They're ahead of schedule, aren't they?
They're probably a year or 2 ahead of schedule. I was going to say they're a year away from being a year away, but they're here right now, and they're playing good ball.
Yeah.
They're winning the slugfest, and they're winning the 2-1 games, too. That's what I always look at. And, Tehran was great for 6 innings or 5 innings, and they get the home run in the bottom and think, they're going to steal a game from Gallen, the Brewers. So they come right back and, get 5 runs and then play that goofy makeup game today and take care of the business. And, they just keep winning. And the Dodgers, are looking up at a 4 or 5 game deficit, and that they were able to blank the Angels 4-0 over 2 games. So,
right.
That keeps them in the hunt, and we'll see. But I still think Arizona's live to win that division.
I do too. What about going any further than that? Can they get out of the National League? The Braves are going to be
Braves
such a
are just so good. So good. Look, they got shut out for 9 innings today, and they still beat NOLA. They score in the 10th.
Well, Schwarber had one hit right at him.
Yeah. Elder, how about this for the Braves? That's Elder's 21st start going 5 innings or more. I mean, think about that. Bryce Elder. I mean, think about that, And they just continue to throw arms at you. You get Strider. Look at the lineup. Sometimes Albies hit sixth. He can hit the ball out sixth. I mean, they hit up and down the line. They got power all the way down to 9.
Yeah.
They're so scary. To me, they're just a scary team. I don't think you ever have a beat on them, even in a game when you're up a few runs.
No, I mean, Acuna, one of the best players, if not the best player in the game.
And Nola pitched him very well today. He
really Did he?
Neutralized Acuna, yeah.
That's tough to do. Matt Olson's got tremendous power from the first base. I thought that, I like Matt Olson's game, but when they decided to give up on Freddie Freeman, I thought they made a mistake. I was wrong.
Yeah. Probably you could say right now you would say you were wrong.
I think so. All right, so let's finish up. Go back to the American League and back to that Central Division. Look, somebody's going to win it. We both have tickets on the White Sox. The Twins had a couple. They needed that win last night. Got it in extra innings. They needed that in the worst way. Joe Ryan went the distance today.
Joe Ryan, I should have bet right away today. He was only $1.40. And, he's really good. Then they got the lead, and he was only like 220 early. And I said, he's just going to cruise, and he did in that game. And shut down a team that hits the ball pretty well in the Red Sox. He's a darn good pitcher. He never has a really bad outing. You might get 2 or 3 off him, but he's really consistent.
If the Twins don't win the Central, who will?
Yeah, the Cleveland will.
You still think Cleveland?
Because they get the most out of the pitching. They got the
even
though
manager.
They don't hit the ball, they're in every game because of the pitching. Even the guys that aren't very good at the bottom only give up a couple runs.
Well, I mean, Bieber apparently is available. Now, I don't know how you can make him available.
Why would you do that? I can't see trading Bieber.
I can't either, especially
the way he's still a top 10 pitcher in baseball, Ken.
Yeah. This Bibby kid's pretty good, too, at the back end of that rotation.
Yeah, I think maybe Savali's the weakest link. Allen was okay today, kept him in the game. The kid, McKenzie, I think he's got a big future.
I do too. I wish you could put on some weight. I mean, he is unbelievable.
I call him Slim with the tilted brim. That's what I call him. I mean,
that fits.
Yeah,
it fits.
He's a toothpick.
Slim with the tilted brim.
Yeah.
Back to the Travelers for golf. Who do you guys? Who took most of the action prior to the tournament? Rory again, as always.
He did, yeah. And really, you're right. And when looking at it, he's our big liability.
Anybody else?
No, not really. Not more than $8,000 or $9,000 liability right now.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Wyndham people come back for Wyndham at all?
No.
Nothing.
Passed this week.
Interesting. No, Wyndham. Yeah, I see him. But before the tournament, he was 49-1 for crying out loud.
They didn't. I thought that we'd see some action.
Yeah.
A hot golfer.
He is a hot golfer. Does he belong now? I mean, is he a guy that we're going to hear from?
I told you, that I think I mentioned it to you on Thursday or when we talked last week that Rick Dunois that's here on Thursday when he was like 4 under through 10 said, look, he's still 35-1, 34-1. You ought to put a little money on him. And I said, are you going to bet it? And he said, no. And I said, well, if you're not betting it, why would I bet it? I regretted it and kicked myself the whole week. Of course, then the price got away. And, I'm not going to bet him on Sunday at, plus $3.
Who is it? Maybe this is unfair because you know all these guys. Who do you think the best golf handicapper is in Vegas? Is there one? Is there one above others? Who's on VSiN that you should pay? I mean, I know Yeoman's bets with both fists when it comes to golf. But he's seldom, if they're singing the anthem, he's got a bet somewhere, right?
Well, and Wes Reynolds and Matt Brown I thought Brady was a pretty good handicapper. He's no longer at the What Network, Brady Cannon. I don't know. I'm a little cynical.
Yeah.
Because, now Matt Brown had Clark at 90-1. He bet Clark at 90-1 and wow. But, he also gave out 14 golfers. So
okay.
I feel like sometimes they give out half the field, and when one of them hits, they act like they split the atom,
Yeah, that's funny. Excuse me. He made me cough. Trent had him in the top 20, but he couldn't go any further. That's all he did.
Well, but Trent ever not cashed a ticket?
It's
It's pretty incredible. What's he doing wasting his time with these radio gigs?
That's just it. I mean, this guy's 11-3 in his picks this week, Mike.
He needs to turn pro.
I hate. I don't even want to run that by him because I rely on him so much from 11-1.
Yeah. Kenny, you've been doing this for years. I mean, you've done it with the best of them and with the worst of them.
Yeah, true. Yes, really good point. Good stuff. How's Survivor and how are the millions doing? How are the signups?
Good. I think we're going to need help with the millions. I mean, usually at this time,
you said
they're
that
running like this. Survivor's doubling up on the millions. Which,
well, I'm playing millions this year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play.
It's amazing.
There's just so many opportunities.
It's amazing. They do these Venn diagrams. This is a circle that did the Survivor, and this is the overlap is not that much.
Is that a fact?
People tend to be one or the other.
Yeah, because of the price point, the buy-in, maybe.
No. They like one thing or the other. The people that play them, why don't you try one Survivor? I don't want that. It's lucky all or nothing. And then you tell them, how am I going to come up with 5 picks? So, they're just very passionate about
it. Yeah, good stuff. All right, that's going to do it for us this week, Mike Palm. Of course, we'd love to see you out in Vegas at any time. Hall of Fame weekend's coming up. Trent and I are going to be out there from 8th to the 13th. We'd love to give you 30% off your room. Just go to the Miller & Condon Twitter page. Just click the link. It'll take you there. When you get through the checkout, you'll deduct 30% from your room charge any day. You can come early in the week, or you can stay through the weekend from the 8th to the 13th. I can't wait to get there, Mike.
We can't wait to have you. It's going to be an exciting August out here.
Indeed it is. We'll see you next week on The Hook. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.